Hello dear friends, welcome back to southern Sweden. Christmas is nearly here, nearly ready for a big sleep, long sleep. This week I did a bunch of recording with my old bandmates from London. It was pretty kind of flying by the seat of our pants, making it up as we went along. I didn't end up being able to really film very much because we had so much to do in a very short space of time, and we didn't really finish anything either. We just basically put down tons and tons of stuff, which at some point I need to sift through. So as a result, it wasn't so easy to film. But what I thought I would do this week, seeing as my dear old pal Ed Grimshaw is still here, we thought we would just set up some drums and mics and we would explore the beauties of this big room. We ended up doing some pretty big kind of 80s style drum sounds, kind of gated reverb kind of stuff on the recordings we did this week. So we do a bit of that. We also do kind of more of a 70s kind of John Bonham-y kind of thing, big compressed room mics. But we start off with a kind of 50s jazz sound, which actually is kind of one of my total obsessions. I've been dreaming for a long time about this place being finished, because that is one of the musical genres which still completely fascinates me in terms of recording, like trying to get like really great sort of Blue Note type Rudy Van Gelder jazz recordings. That seems like a bit of a kind of dark art, and maybe something which isn't really covered that much on YouTube. So that's the first thing we're going to do. Thanks very much, Ed, for doing this. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and let's do it. So the first thing we're going to try, we thought we would start in the 50s, like kind of old school, roomy studio, and what better a musical genre than jazz. And we've been listening to some records so far today, and we've hit upon a very famous one, maybe the most famous jazz recording ever. I'd say it's a candidate. Eagle-eared viewers will spot what it is, especially thanks to the time signature. And we did a bit of digging, and we've tried to match up the miking. That particular piece of music, it looks like it's just one mic on each instrument. What I have done to sort of simulate that, seeing as we're just recording drums, is I have one mic on the drums, which is, God, I can never remember. M71, is it? The capsule, at least. It's a East German Neumann, like same capsule as a U47. I have two of these. They're amazing mics. And a couple of Schoeps room mics, which are kind of simulating the kind of ambience you would get in a jazz session where everyone's basically just playing live in the room and there's a mic on each thing. And it's basically the bleed between all the mics that gives you that amazing kind of 3D sound that you get on those jazz records. So yeah, we're just gonna press record and see how this sounds. On the original recording, there was some echo chamber on there, which I experimented putting that on, which does make it sound a bit more like the original. But for the video, I wanted to show you just the room sound, just the natural room sound. I did a little bit of EQing here, just attenuating the top end a bit on the close mic, but also boosting around the same, just underneath, like 8K boost, like a wide, very wide boost, and then attenuating at 10k, and then a little bit of the low end taken off. Pretty incredible how much you can get out of one mic with this kind of music. The room mic, a bit of the low end taken off, and a little bit of the high end taken off. That was kind of interesting, that you can really tune how much roominess there is by how much of the top end of the room mics you take off. I'll just run it again and I'll just fiddle with all this stuff. I'll put in the echo chamber. I'm using this Altaverb Cello Studios convolution thing, and I'll just fiddle around a little bit so you can hear what the different mics sound like. All right, here we go. Okay, so setup number 2. We're going to go for a kind of big 70s kind of roomy drum sound. I guess John Bonham would be the most famous proponent of that type of thing. But yeah, we have the D12 on the kick drum, Tom's mic'd from above. Thought I'd try these Royers as overheads. Yeah, the room mics, as they are at the moment, they are on Omni, and they are about 5-6 meters away from the drums. So yeah, we'll just do this, and then maybe I'll move the mics a bit further out and see how that sounds as well. I forgot to say that the room mics I have going through the Fairchild kind of pretty hot. I'm just kind of crushing them through the Fairchild. So now I've moved the room mics a bit further out. So let's just see what kind of difference this makes. Hang on a second, this one should be a little bit further in. Something like that. All right. Okay, so this is distant room mics. Okay, so for our third and final setup today, we're going to try something a little bit more modern. By modern, maybe I mean kind of like 80s kind of modern. Still got the room mics, but we're going to be gating the room mics from the snare drum. So every time he hits the snare, it's going to open the room mics. It's a really fun thing to do because you can totally change the whole sound just by adjusting the settings on the gates. And we're going to again try moving the room mics around, see what kind of difference that makes, switching between Omni and cardioid, that kind of thing. I've also changed out some of the mics on the drums. We've got an M88 on the kick now for a slightly more kind of tight, modern kick sound. I've added a sub kick in the form of this old Yamaha guitar amp, which I've just wired the speaker to a DI box, which works really good. That's just basically a massive sub kick, 12-inch sub kick. I've mic'd the toms from underneath this time, just to give us a bit more low end on the toms, and I can gate those as well if I need to, if there's too much kind of rumble. The overheads I've swapped out for these Josephson small diaphragm condensers, which I think will give us a bit more of a kind of high-end, kind of shimmery kind of sound than the last setup. So yes, with a bit of luck, this should sound a bit more modern. Okay, so now I've switched these room mics to Omni. Let's see what difference that makes. So now I've moved the room mics quite a bit further away from the drums. They're also at this end of the room, which is way less acoustically dampened than the other end. So I think this is going to probably sound pretty huge. All right, let's check it out. You get the idea. Could go on for hours trying different locations, room mics, all those different combinations of everything. But yeah, it's been a really interesting experience to start kind of experimenting with the room, and I mean, I think it sounds pretty good. I'm not just saying it. I do think it's a really good sounding room, and I'm sure over the years I'll keep on tinkering with it and coming up with different ways of capturing things in this space. But yeah, there you go. Thanks very much for watching all the way to the end. Thanks for all of your support this year. Really, this is kind of the year where everything came together. If you watched last week's video, you will know that we have a little bit more last things we need to fix, mainly this bloody staircase and the other one. No, but we've got a plan. We've got a plan now. I am really very much in need of a break, so there's a chance that I might not do a video next week. I'll see if inspiration strikes, but I really could use a couple of weeks just enjoying Christmas and lying on the sofa watching films, which is, I think, probably what everyone else is going to be doing. But yeah, January we will go full steam ahead, finishing the last little bits with this place and getting it signed off, booking events, yeah, filling this place with life. So yeah, thanks again. Thank you very much to Ed for playing drums. It was really great to work with you again, man, and Al, who's not here anymore. But yeah, also, yeah, watch this space. I will do something with those recordings ASAP. All right, lots of love, everybody. Have a great Christmas, and I will see you, if not before, I'll see you in 2026. All right, take it easy. Goodbye.